Hello, Yawning Angel back again with another AMOS video. And in this video, I'm going to take a look at an editor which is hidden within the AMOS Pro editor. Yes, what if I told you AMOS Pro had another editor within itself that not many people know about? So what actually is this additional editor then, and what's it all about? Well, this editor is actually an AMAL specific editor. It's loaded as an accessory into the AMOS Pro editor. This enables us to create AMAL programs in a dedicated editor space, save them out into a bank file, and then load those AMAL programs into our existing AMOS code. This actually is pretty cool, but there are some things you need to know in order to make effective use of it. There are things that the AMOS Pro manual doesn't cover in any great detail, and even looking at third-party AMOS reference books as well, I was still confused as to how the process actually worked. I got so confused, in fact, I had to tap into the vast knowledge which is Rob Smith Dev. Thanks, Rob, much appreciated, in order to understand a bit more about how this worked. And after much experimentation, I think I finally got it working, and that's what this video is all about. So without further ado, and you know how this works, let's grab a brew and dive on into some code. Only this time in a slightly different editor. Okay, so here we are then. First things first, mouthful of tea. This time we're in the What Ho Snorkers mug. Well, that's not bad. That's not bad today. Filming a little bit later today, so it's now afternoon and not morning. So I've switched to my afternoon tea, which is a nice Assam. There we go. A little bit of insider knowledge there for you. Right. So before I dive into looking at editors and code and the like, I just wanted to mention reference material. So if you're fortunate enough to have a copy of Mastering Amiga AMOS by Phil South, sections 12 and 13. Section 13 covers the AMAL editor. Worth a look in there. Also mentioned about Phil South will be at this year's Southwest Amiga Group meet on the 25th of October, which is nice. I hope to see him there. Also, if you've obviously got the AMOS Pro manual, section 1305 covers the AMAL editor of sorts. I've got to admit, I was not that impressed with the coverage of AMAL, Advanced AMAL, and the AMAL editor within the AMOS Pro manual. It's a bit hit and miss. It's almost like an afterthought. But anyway, that's my personal opinion. Right, so let's get on with it then. So to load the AMAL editor, what we need to do is be in the AMOS Pro editor, and you come up to Load Accessory, and you go into the Accessories folder within AMOS, within your AMOS system folder, and there it is, amaleditor.amos. Yes, the AMAL editor is an AMOS program, and for this we're entirely grateful, and I'll show you why in a couple of minutes. So let's load that in. Obviously nothing comes up because it has loaded it as an accessory, but if I go to accessories, you'll notice here that it is in red, and the reason being is it's not going to run because there's a bug in it. So if I go down to edit, brings the code in to a window here, and if I do F2 to obviously check for errors, sure enough, there's an error here on line 401. On error, go to _greg. So, this channel's quick and dirty in terms of some of the code decisions. So all I'm going to do is just comment that line out because there is no need, the program runs well enough without that. So I'm just commenting out that line because at some point I'll get around to digging into this a little bit deeper and might revamp this editor a bit. But for now, let's just get the core editor working. So if I now press F1, this will load the editor, and this pretty much is it. What we've got here is probably the most important thing you need to know is these are your channels. Because if you notice, if I'm clicking on these numbers here, you'll notice in the top right the channel numbers are changing. These are my channels. So there are 16 channels shown here. You can have more channels. I think you can have up to 63 or is it 64? More on that in a future video, but for now this editor deals with 15 channels. They're all here. Obviously we're going to start with channel 0. It's a basic text editor. You can type stuff in. There's no interpreter, no line interpreter on this, so it's not validating your code as you type it. bear that in mind. You still need to be mindful of the AMAL rules. You can use the first letter for your keywords, or you can put the full word in. So we can either do A, for animation, or we can do anim for animation. Because what we're effectively going to do in this video is we're going to take the AMAL code that I used in strings in the previous videos program. Obviously, there's a link up above to that. And I'm going to just put that code as straight AMAL instructions into the editor, save that out in the bank file, and then we're going to load that in to our AMOS program. But anyway, this is pretty much it. It's a very, very simple affair, this editor. We can quit. Quitting will take us back to our AMOS Pro editor. Edit, standard edit commands, disk commands will load a bank, save a bank, or save as. We'll see that in a moment. Options, I'm not going to cover this really in this video. We're just going to do the bare bones, the very simple stuff. The block menu, I can't get this to work for love nor money, so we're going to ignore the block menu. But this is pretty much it. This is the editor. So I think what we'll do then, we'll have a look at the AMOS program that's going to load in our AMAL programs that we've built in the editor. And that will give you a bit of a flavour as to the direction we're taking. So let's jump back to the AMOS editor now by just pressing escape. And we get the message up here, quit AMAL editor. We just hit yes, takes us back to our AMOS Pro editor. Right, I've loaded in a stripped down version of the AMOS program, which we're going to construct and make use of to run our AMAL coding. So what this program, this is just a quick whistle stop tour as to what it's going to do. So we're going to set up our screen, we're going to load bobs, standard fare. Going to set up the bobs and the palette, etc. We're going to load the AMAL code bank file. This is where things start to get different. We'll then create our channels and we'll assign the code from the bank file to the correct channels so it runs when we execute the AMAL on statements. Really, really basic stuff. So this is pretty much a shell of a program. So obviously we set up our screen, we load our bobs, get our bob palette, assign our bobs, bobs 1, 2, and 3. So player 1 spaceship, meteor, and the player 2 spaceship. Then we'll load our AMAL code. Obviously you'll notice the instruction is missing because I'm going to cover that as part of this video. We're going to list banks. We're going to use the list bank command. Ooh, exciting, the Audience Angel, a new command. Yes, and I'll explain why later. Then we're going to deal with animating the ship. So our channel is set there. Then I've got comments in this code, but basically we're going to load the AMAL command and we're going to tell it which AMAL program it needs to reference. Quite important. This is the bit that gets a bit confusing, so hang on to your hats. You're going to need to pay attention when we get to this bit. And then what we're going to do, so that's going to handle the animation of the first spaceship, then we're going to animate the meteor, and then we're going to animate the second spaceship. So we're going to build this up slowly so you can see the process and how it all hangs together. In case you're wondering or you haven't seen the previous video, what I'm going to do is just show you the code from the AMAL code that we're actually going to make use of. So let's just dive through this. So this is the program. You would have been able to download this from my website as part of the code I did in the previous video. So let's find the AMAL code. Here we go. So here's an AMAL string here, because obviously last time we assigned our AMAL commands in a string, and then we built the string up and we executed the string as part of the AMAL code. This time we're not going to be doing that. But the AMAL code we're using is going to be exactly the same. So this, for example here, anim 0, 412, 512, 612, that command will go into our editor without the quotes around it. And we'll do the animation first. I'll show you that working. Then we're going to look at putting in the joystick control, and then we'll do the meteor stuff. So there was the meteor animation here, and with this program, we didn't actually get to animate the second spaceship, but I'm going to do that as part of this tutorial. So you'll see it all working. But this AMAL code, this is what I'm referencing. Nothing is changing in terms of the AMAL code. I'm using the same code, I'm just implementing it in a different way by using the AMAL editor in order to create it. Okay then, let's get the AMAL editor running. Now, I've got the AMAL editor code down here, and I'm just going to run it from there because it has kind of vanished from my accessory list. So yeah, oddities, it's just a bit weird. The whole editor thing isn't very well executed, but we will make do with what we've got. Right, so anyway, I'm clicking in the AMAL editor.amos, and I'm going to run the code. And here we go then. So this is our basic, fresh AMAL editor. So I'm just I'm making sure I'm on channel 0. So if we look up here, it says channel number 0. And what I'm going to do is type in my animation command. So this would be exactly the same as I had it as a string in the previous videos program. So animation 0, because we want this animation to loop. And then we're using bob number 4, speed of 12, bob number 5 for a speed of 12, bob number 6 for a speed of 12, and then we semicolon at the end because that signifies to the AMAL code there can be another instruction after that. And there will be, because we're going to put the joystick commands in. So with that done, that's all we need to do. And now I'm going up to the disk menu and I'm going to do save AMAL bank. And what I'm going to do, this is actually in the same folder as my space race program. And I forgot to mention the program that you saw earlier, it's just a rough shell as kind of a proof of concept, because eventually once I've got all these proof of concepts together, we're going to build that Space Race 2 game properly, bringing all these elements into one main program. But for now, we just kind of got proof of concept programs. So I am going to call this AMAL code 1.abk. So that's what it is, AMAL code 1.abk. You have to give it the .abk sort of postfix there so it knows it's a bank file. AMAL underscore code underscore 1.abk, and we're saving that. That has now saved. So what I can do now is press escape. Do we want to quit the editor? Yes, we do. There's no way to toggle between the two, which once again is a little bit frustrating. But now I've got that AMAL bank file and I can now load that in. So let's, oops, I'm in the wrong place. Let me find the place where I need to do that. So here we are, load AMAL code. And we're going to basically just tell the AMOS program to load that bank file in. Please note, all AMAL code sits in bank 4, in memory bank 4. You can define another bank if you want, but the default is always in bank 4. And we'll see that in a moment when I issue the list bank command. Anyway, let's get that code written to load that bank file in. Okay, so what we do then is we just type load AMAL underscore code underscore 1.abk, and that is all we need to do. Just save that. Really, that's all you need to do. You could do comma 4 to put it into bank 4, but AMOS handles this itself and AMAL will be dumped into bank 4. Right, and to prove it's in bank 4, if I do list bank, I think that's the command, yeah, list bank, and this will show the banks, the memory banks that are being used by this AMOS program. Okay, swapping between AMOS and AMAL gets a little bit confusing after a while, but bear with me on this. Right, so I've saved that. So now if I run this program, we should see, so here we go. Obviously our sprites, these are our bobs because that was a bank file in its own right. We've got our AMAL code is bank 4. Don't worry about these numbers for now. We're not worrying about addresses because we can run AMAL code from a memory address. Cover that in a future video. This is really what my program is doing. This is what my shell of a program is doing at the moment, and it's doing nothing because it's just showing the bob for the first spaceship, the bob for the meteor, and the bob for the second spaceship. We're not getting any animation or anything yet because I haven't put that code in. So I'm just going to Control-C out of that. Okay, so the next thing to do then is, I need to find my code. Right, what we do, yes, I have got notes off to the side. I can't multitask. So we've got our list bank, so we can just tidy that up. And we've got our instructions, tells us what's going to happen. Press the key to animate the ship. So what we've got then, channel 0, we're assigning to Bob 1. So our first Bob, so that's the spaceship. If I go back up to here, Bob 1, it's X and Y coordinates here, and it's actually Bob 4 from the image bank, but we've assigned it to Bob 1. So Bob 1 is now assigned, well, channel 0 is assigned to Bob 1, which is good. And now if I go, yep, so now here we go. This is the important bit. So mouthful of tea is needed here because my throat's starting to go dry. Animation. So this is important. Define the AMAL command. And the AMAL statement you want is broken down such as this. AMAL, the channel number, and the program number. Okay? And because the program we load is the first program, so the program starts at number 0, that's what we can see as the numbering convention. So even though it's the first program, it will be program 0. I'm happy to be corrected on this, but after much experimentation, this terminology seems to work. So that's what I put here. Program numbering starts at 0, question mark, it seems to, because that's how I got this working. So what I'm going to do is issue my AMAL statement. And it's going to be AMAL, channel 0, program 0. And then I'm going to turn on channel 0, like we would do normally for any other AMAL code. So it's going to be AMAL on 0. Save that. And that is all you need to do. So we've loaded the bank file. It's sitting in bank 4. AMOS is handling its memory banks. So you don't need to do anything with that. And then we assign our channel 0 to our Bob, which we're going to animate. That animation instruction is sitting in our AMAL code. And all we just do is say, right, what you're going to do is for AMAL channel 0, and it's going to be program 0. That's the code you're going to use. That's the code you're going to reference. And then we actually turn on channel 0. So this on 0 here is for the channel. This here, that's the channel, and that's the program number. This is mentioned in the AMOS Pro manual, so do go and check that out if you want to. And then we've got a wait key command there. Nothing else is going to happen. So we've saved that. So let's run this. So I'll probably zoom this screen in a bit. But as we stand at the moment, our spaceship is doing nothing. It's just sitting there. It says press a key to animate the ship. So let's do that. And there we go. Look at that. Our animation is running. Look at that. We've got those animation cells looping round now. And it's just, our spaceship is actually doing something. How cool is that? So we've got no AMAL specific code in our AMOS program. We've just loaded it in from the bank file, told it what channel to be on, what program number it is, and we've just switched on that channel and boom, look at that. Spaceship is animating. That's pretty cool. Right, I'm going to Control-C out of that because there's no use going any further on. Don't forget, you will need to turn AMAL off if you haven't got the code in your program to do it. Because if you look, the program isn't running, but the AMAL is, because that ship is still animating. So AMAL off, escape, back out. So there you go. That is the AMAL editor in its simplest form. Write the code in the editor, save the bank file, load it into your AMOS program, assign the channel, tell it what program number it's using, turn that channel on, boom, there you go, it's working. And that's essentially the essence of it. So what I'm going to do now is put the joystick code into that AMAL editor on the same program number, so we can have joystick control on that spaceship. We'll do that, and then we'll move on to the meteor and then the second spaceship. So let's get on with it. Right, before I do that, I just want to show you something quite quickly. So I need to run my AMAL editor again, so I do that. You'll notice that my AMAL code is not in here because I need to actually load the bank each time. So AMAL code 1.abk, if I load that, there you go, it brings in the code which I'd written previously. Please note that will happen every time you come out of the editor. To go back into it, you need to reload your bank file in order to get the code you've already written. A little bit frustrating. Like I said, this is all a bit Heath Robinson, a bit of an afterthought, but it gets the job done. Right, let me get that joystick code in. Right, and here it is then. So I've added in that joystick code. So just exactly the same. We've got our label. Our label has a colon at the end of it. Then we've got our if command. So if the joystick is moved left, then jump to the label L. If it's moved right, jump to the label R. If it's moved up, jump to the label U. And if it's moved down, jump to the label D. Then we've got jump begin, so this bit of code is constantly looping. If a joystick is moved in any direction, it jumps to the appropriate label, executes the relevant move command, and jumps back into the begin loop. Again, really that's all there is to it. Now I've saved that code, just did a straight disk, save AMAL bank, that's saved. Right, so I'm going to come out of the editor, and do you think I need to change anything in the AMOS code? Well, guess what? I don't, because I've already told the AMOS code to load that program number 0 in and just assign all that code to channel 0, and I've turned on channel 0. So now I haven't changed anything in the AMOS program. I press F1 to run it. I press a key. My spaceship is animating, but if I move the joystick, now those joystick commands are actually being, fired and utilized. So check that out. How good is that? I haven't had to make any change to the AMOS code at all. I've just changed the AMAL code in that bank file. So stop that. Let's just make AMAL off. Make AMAL off. That's good English, isn't it? Right, what I'm going to do now, we'll go back in to the AMAL editor and we'll do the animation for the meteorite and check that out. So we'll do that next. Right, before I do that, more tea. It's all good. Might have to get another cup in a minute. Right, so important, pay attention. We are in AMAL channel number 0, but I want to be in channel 1 for the animation on my meteor. So what I'm going to do now is click over here on channel 1, and I've got a blank page because we have no code written for channel 1 yet. So what I'm going to do then is just do the animation command which I had previously. So that's Bob 10 for 18, Bob 11 for 18, Bob 12 for 18, Bob 13, yep, 13 for 18. There we go. That is all I'm putting in to channel 1, okay? So I'm going to save that. So save AMAL bank. That has saved. So that's AMAL channel number 1. Now if I toggle back here to 0, the code for channel 0 is still here. Go back to 2, the code for 1 is there. Okay, 0 and 1. Right, that's done. Now I come out of here. Now I need to put the code into the AMOS program, which will trigger this channel for the meteorite animation. So we'll quit the editor and we'll go back into our AMOS code, just tidy it up a bit. So we come here, now let's handle the meteor on channel 1. Right, let me go back to my code reference. So this will be channel 1 to Bob 2, because the second Bob is our meteor, okay? Then set AMAL for channel 1, program 1, which is actually the second program. Are you keeping up? Yeah, because we've got 2 AMAL programs now. So what I'm going to do now is we'll do AMAL channel 1 for the meteor, program 1, boom. And then it will just be a case of turn on AMAL for this channel. AMAL on 1. There we go. AMAL's on 1. Save that. Let's tidy this code up a bit. Right, so what we've done then, we've put the code for channel 1 into our AMAL editor. We've then saved that. We're bringing it in. We're saying channel 1 is now Bob 2. That's our meteor. And it's program 1. We want to execute in channel, we want to assign to channel 1. Then we're going to turn on channel 1 and we should see our meteor animating. Save that. Let's run this. Oh, a syntax error. I've got a comma in there. Channel 1 to Bob 2. No errors. Save it. Right, so we'll press a key to animate the ship. So that's our ship animating. So that was our channel 0. Yeah, animating on channel 0. Now I'm going to press a key to animate the meteor. And there it is. Look at that. It's going round and round, and that is animating on channel 1. So this is working, and this is pretty cool because I'm not having to make many code changes to the AMOS program. I'm doing them all in the AMAL bank. Right, so with that working, we're now going to animate ship 2, and I've got something slightly different lined up for this to make it a bit more interesting. So I'm going to go ahead and put that code in via the AMAL editor into the bank file right now. Right, back in the editor. So there's channel 0, there's channel 1. Now I want channel 2. And I'm just going to do a very simple animation command, and this will be 7,12, 8,12, obviously Bob 7 for a rate of 12, 8 for a rate of 12, and 9 for a rate of 12. So that's just basically going to give the kind of engine animation for the ship. But now I've got something a little bit special lined up, and I'm just going to pop that code in now. Right, okay, so I've added this chunk of code here. I've just got a label called T, got some move statements in there, and then we just jump back to it. So quite clearly this is going to do some sort of animation on the ship. The eagle-eyed amongst you might be able to work out what that is, but wait and see. It's just a bit of fun. Don't forget, this is on channel 2, AMAL channel 2. So I have saved this, but let's just go back and prove to ourselves we've still got all the other channels. So channel 0, channel 1, channel 2. Happy days. We'll just make sure that is saved. Save AMAL bank. Then we'll escape out of here. Now we're back into our AMOS code, and I just need to now plug that bit in. So what we're going to do then is, so we'll handle channel 2, program 2. Right, so what I need to do then is here, we're going to have channel 2 to Bob 3. We're going to have, have I, no, I haven't put any more comments in here because the comments are all pretty much the same. But what I'm going to do now is issue my AMAL command. So AMAL channel 2, program 2, which is effectively the third program because the number in starts from 0. 0, 1, 2. 0, 1, yeah, you get the idea, okay? AMAL on 2. And that, ladies and gentlemen, should be it. So, and what I've got then, we've got a wait key command, and then we turn AMAL off before we end the program. This is good coding practice. Make sure you do it. Right, so I think we should be okay. So let's run this. Press a key to animate the ship. So this is on channel 0. Spaceship is animating. Press a key to animate the meteor. So that's on channel 1. We've got that. And now the moment of truth. Will the player 2 spaceship animate? Yes, it is. So those move statements I put in just to kind of highlight, we've got that kind of going, but we've got all the animations are working. And if I grab the joystick, I can move my ship. Look at that. Player 1 ship will move around. All of that is happening within AMAL. It's running perfectly. And I'm sure the pilot in Spaceship 2 there is feeling quite sick at the moment. But I just kind of animated it that way just to prove, look, you know, just to make it a bit more visible to prove that it's all working. Press the key to end, and that has ended my program. And that pretty much is it. There's nothing else to do there. I mean, there are no AMAL statements anywhere in this code. All we're doing is loading in that bank file and telling AMOS to assign those AMAL programs 0, 1 and 2 to the relevant channels which we have chosen. So, you know, have a look at this code. You can go to my website and download this code for free. I just want to say a big thank you to all my Ko-fi supporters who support me when they download code and stuff off my website. Thank you, folks. I really appreciate it. But by all means, go away, download this code. There'll be a link to this in the description down below. So you can go and grab this code, and I will put the AMAL bank file in there as well as the bobs, because they haven't changed pretty much from the last program that I did. So that is pretty much it. The AMAL editor in a nutshell. This gets you up and running with that editor, and I'm quite pleased with that. And that is it for this video. Thank you ever so much for watching. I really hope you've got something out of this. If you did, please like the video, subscribe to my channel if you have not already done so. It all helps this channel to grow. As I said, the code for this program and all the assets are available to download for free from my website. Details of that are in the description down below, along with my Ko-fi account and my social channels, etc., etc. So in the next video, we will look at animating the meteor across the screen, and we'll hopefully get some collision detection working. That's where I want to go next. I know I said I was hoping to do that for this video, but the AMAL editor came up and a number of you asked me to talk about that in this video. So here you go. This is it. Right. Thanks once again, everyone. Until the next video then, whatever you do, look after yourselves and keep it retro. If you enjoyed this video, here's some others which you may find interesting.